Hi everyone and welcome back. Today we're going to look at how easy it is to do a quick simple echo and kind of change the way our quilt looks. So on my show quilt here that I've done in the back, I did triangles with a simple boundary, and it was really simple to echo in the pattern, and I did the same thing with the diamonds on the outside. So we're going to look at that all and more today here on Back to the Basics. Alrighty, so the first thing that we're going to do is create our boundary. So we're going to go over here to the top left, click that to create our boundary, and I'm going to take my machine, and I'm just going to go over one of the blocks that I have here on my quilt. Go around my block here and make this boundary. So I've got my boundary in here, and what I'm going to do is go ahead and place this pattern that I've chosen into the boundary, the feather wreath, and I'm actually going to shrink it down a little bit. So if I click on my pattern, right now I've got my, zoom out a little bit, I've got my purple anchors, but if I double click, it'll give me my orange ones. So I can shrink it symmetrically to the center. Right about there looks good. And so now I want to give it a little echo to fill out the outside here. So if I click on the pattern, and I'm going to right click, I can go down here to echo pattern. And right now we have it at a 1/4 inch spacing, which is pretty normal. And I want to give it 3 echoes. So I'll type in 3, and then you're going to hit place echo pattern. I'm going to hit that. It's going to echo my pattern out. So it's added 3 extra echoes on the outside. And if I want to, I can select all my patterns and pull it out a little more to fill it up, at least on the outsides right here. And now I actually want to put some echoes on the inside of a pattern. And it's really simple to do. You just have to make one quick adjustment. So right now I'm going to click on my feather wreath again. And if I right click in the center here, I'll go back to echo pattern. And I need to change the echo spacing to a negative spacing. And the reason I'm doing that is so that the echoes will go inside the pattern, and then they'll go from the kind of like the outside of that circle into the center. And I want to do, in that circle, let's say I want to do 6 echoes. We'll see what that looks like. I'm going to hit place echo pattern. I'm going to echo on the inside of that. Oh, that was pretty interesting. And I also want to put echoes inside of my feathers. I want to echo inside the feathers as well. So if I left click on my pattern again, I want to right click in the specific feather that I want. So like for instance, I want to echo inside of this feather. So I want to right click in this feather, go to echo pattern, and I'm going to change it to only 2 echoes. I don't need 6 of them in there. I'm going to hit place echo pattern. There we go. And I'm just going to do it along a couple of them so I can show you. Always right clicking in the one that I want. There we go. So then I can see here that when I was doing one of my echoes, I accidentally right clicked in the wrong spot. So it doubled my echoes out here, right here and right here. And sometimes it's hard to get to those specific echoes because they're so close together. So an easy trick that you can use is if you use your greater than or less than keys on your keyboard, which are right next to the letter M, as in Mary, on your keyboard. They're on the right-hand side of that letter. You can press those, and it'll scroll through each one of your patterns that it has on the screen, and you can get in to click delete those specific echoes that you want to delete. So I'm thinking mine are going to be right, those 2, I want to get rid of those. And that one as well. There we go. So then you can echo out completely the entire feather, or you can delete certain ones out that you want. Like, for instance, maybe I didn't want to echo this one. I wanted to do every other one. I can just delete using my greater than or less than keys to get there. Have that one, and then I'll delete this one out because I didn't want to do that one either. I'll just delete, use those greater than or less than keys, and delete. So then you can echo every other one however you would like. Alrighty, so I went ahead and made a couple of adjustments and finished the echoing and the feathers, every other feather, and then I went into the circle and took some of those out because it would have been really, really tight. Just by using those greater than or less than keys, they really help out, especially when you're doing a lot of echoing or a lot of patterns that are close together. You can easily get through them and clicking and deleting which ones you'd like and which ones you don't like. So I'm going to go ahead and quilt that out. Takes a lot of concentration, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of artistic work going into it. So, just really cool how it can do this. So when it gets to different echoes, there's a couple different ways you can make it go on to the next part. At the beginning, before we stitched it out, we could have combined the whole pattern, and then I could have walked away, went and got a cup of coffee, and came back, and everything would be done, but there would just be a bunch of jump stitches. Excuse me. So you would have to go through and clip your threads. So if you don't have that problem, I would select all your patterns, combine the pattern, and then it would stitch all out at one time. So right now, at this point, it's asking me to go ahead and cut my bobbin because it's ready to jump to the next echo. So I'm going to do that. Put my scissors here. Hit OK. Pull my bobbin thread. Just going to work on my next one. And then when I get to the next echo, I'll show you what else you can do instead of having to do that if you don't want to. So finish that echo, and so instead of pulling up, cutting my bobbin, I can also just click OK. It'll hop to the next one, take a stitch, and I can hit OK again, and it'll start back. I'll still have to trim my threads, but that just saves me one step in this process, but later on I'd have to do another step anyway. But it's filling out that block quite nicely. And we're all done. Wasn't that just amazing how easy it is to quickly change a pattern and give it your own personal touch? I'll see you next time. Remember, keep calm and Statler on.